Hey guys, so I'm back from my month-long break, and for those of you who didn't know, I did have to take a month leave as something came up and I really didn't have enough time to make a formal announcement. So sorry for the short notice. I know it was quite sudden, but I'm back and I'm trying to get back to my original schedule. Now, this video is going to be very, very important. Basically, what I'm going to cover in this video is the future of the channel, what I've planned, what tutorial series or what videos I have planned, what I plan to change, and just general stuff for the channel I really wanted to cover. So I really want this video to get as much exposure as possible. And so I'm pushing all of my scheduled videos back about 2 to 3 weeks just so I can get as much exposure to this video because it's super important. It's gonna affect everyone who, support my channel, watch my videos, like the things I do, and, look forward to new content. It's gonna ultimately affect everyone. So I really wanted to make sure that everyone gets this message. If I feel like, this video got enough exposure, I might reschedule my videos so they release earlier. But until then, 2 to 3 weeks before new content or scheduled videos will release, both on my YouTube and on Patreon. So keep that in mind. Now, there won't be any timestamps on this video because everything in this video is super important. So please, I know it's going to be very boring and whatnot, but just please bear with me. We are going to have a bit of a talk, I guess you would say. So let's start off strong with new content. So I made 2 small tutorial series back in January and I do plan to release them, but the thing is they don't have any voiceovers. But when I recorded them, I fully commented all the code, so it's pretty self-explanatory. I really wanted to remake them, but I've decided that, none of the code or nothing I made in that video is super complicated. So just edit it and threw it together in a video and I'm gonna release that. Still in the process of editing it and still making sure everything is all good to go. But I have 2 small tutorial series, as I mentioned, that will release. I'm not going to disclose what they are, like what content or what they're going to showcase. But if you're on like my Patreon quite often, you're going to get sneak peek of what to expect. Now, another thing that I've been working on and really close in finishing actually is the Project Bloodbounder project files made available for purchasing if anyone wanted to get access to some more complex, more advanced coding, just to learn or just wanted to use a template. And that was my original goal. I was cleaning it up, hoping that it will be good enough in a state where people can just use it as a template. And yeah, I'm really close. And I'll make like a big announcement on Discord and YouTube when I complete it, so just stick around for that. So the next thing I really want to talk about is devlogs. Originally, I've been hoping to get like a devlog every month, and during my break, I got a bit of time for myself. I was able to get on Discord maybe once or twice just to see how things are going. I did help out a little bit during my break, but not too much, as many of you can tell. But I spent a bit of time reflecting on my devlog videos as, my original goal with the whole channel was to be a place for me to document my work. I really never originally planned to be a tutorial guy, make tutorial videos, but it just happened. So I really wanted to refocus back on my devlogs. And so I reflected about what I did in the past and I've learned a couple of things. And just kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit just to get you guys, well informed about my plans with devlogs for those of you who are actually interested in it. And so with that said, devlogs is gonna take a while, so they're not gonna be released as often as it used to be because I did try to make a devlog every month, and now I'm trying to spend a bit more time to really document my work, polish it up before really showcasing anything, because who doesn't like to see something that looks good rather than just works? That's something I really want to work on my devlogs, but I'm still going to release like work in progress videos on my Discord and Twitter like I did before, so those won't change. But just something about my devlogs, some more generalized stuff, some things I really work on. Just give you guys an update on where I'm standing here with devlogs, but they still exist, so don't worry, they're still alive. So let's talk about more like long-term stuff, about long-term goals, I guess you would say, for the channel, what I have planned. Now, I did mention in the beginning that all the news I'm sharing here would kind of affect everyone, but this section specifically is going to bear some bad news. And I don't know how I'm going to say it, so I'm just going to come out right and just say it. Tutorials will be put on halt after the 2 tutorial series I am planning to release. In other words, there will no longer be any more tutorials that we made after the 2 series that I have already planned. Now, the biggest reason behind all of this, and I know it's a really big decision, is that I'm falling behind on my schedule for my project. To be specific, I'm like 7 or 8 months behind, which doesn't sound a lot really, but in reality it's a lot. And I really got a bit of time to really think about my schedule, where I'm at, and I came to the realization that I'm losing a lot of time. And it's not bad. I do enjoy making tutorial videos, so don't get me wrong on that point. I really do genuinely like to share my knowledge. It's part of, why I started the whole YouTube and why I agreed to really make tutorial videos. But I really want to push this game out, and I set these big goals for myself. For example, this month really was supposed to be the first release of a public build, like a fully functional, fully polished demo project for Project Wanderer, but as you can tell, it really didn't happen. So I'm kind of hoping to reflect a little bit, and just hopefully that, just hoping that I can really focus on this game a bit more, really polish it up and actually bring something to the table. I call myself a game developer, but really haven't really made anything worth or worthy enough to really showcase and really say that, proud enough for me to really say that I really own this. Just the biggest reason, I just really wanted to put some more time on my project. And just for a bit of reference, in 6 months, I was able to build Project Bloodbounder. So if any of you actually got to try the demo, you actually got to see 6 months of work. Now, Project Wanderer, we are near the 1 year development, and so I'm nowhere close to the point I was in Project Bloodbounder in 6 months. So, that's a signal telling me that, I need to get my shit together. Yeah, it's not the best news, but if I was in a middle of a project, if I was just some dude who just enjoyed making videos, making content about teaching you guys how to code, I will definitely continue making tutorials. But sadly, that's not the case. I'm in the middle of a project. I really want to push this out. Sorry, but tutorials gotta go for the time being. Now, that doesn't mean I won't ever do them again, just that in the future I might, but as of now, I'm gonna have to put it to a stop so I can reserve that big chunk of time, that I spend on tutorials, planning them, editing them, actually recording them, doing whatever needs to be done for those videos. And I want to grab that big chunk of time and shove it to my project so I can give myself a bit more time and just honestly just work on it. So big changes, bad news, but I hope you guys can understand where I'm coming from. Now, big changes to the channel means I have to change something, or I should change something to my Patreon. Now, if you guys didn't know, I do run a Patreon, so if you guys really want to support me, I provide these special benefits to those who do, like early access, project files, exclusive content, or exclusive project files, I guess you would say, and just stuff like that in general. I was thinking of it because, with the change in content and how much I'm really grinding on these videos, how many I'm gonna release, is gonna decrease. So logically it makes sense to maybe dial down on or change my Patreon system, how it works, but I've decided that I'm not gonna make a whole lot of changes. The reason behind that is because early access content stuff isn't really the biggest selling point for my Patreon. I did a bit of surveying with some of my actual Patreon. Most of them come for the project files. I'm going to keep it as it is now. I might make changes in the future, but as of now, I kind of just want to keep things the same just to see how it goes. If you're a early access Patreon supporter, you'll get access to project files, early access to all my videos. You also get monthly updates for Project Wanderer. So not like Devlogs, but if I did make a devlog, you'll get early access to that, but just general updates every month about what I'm doing. And so they have that going for them. For our VIP members, I am starting to put more exclusive projects, just learning projects that I've made that I used when I'm learning something new. When for example, if I'm going to learn a bit about UI design, I'm going to make a whole new project so I don't shove everything into one single project. So I make a separate project, I learn my stuff, and I just share that on to my VIP members. And so for those who are a VIP member, you'll get that as a benefit along with everything else. And to top all of that off, you'll also get any builds I make for Project Wanderer. I do currently have one. Haven't updated in a while. I'm hoping to update that soon. So just some things on my to-do list that I'm really hoping to achieve soon. I mean, regardless if you support me directly or not on Patreon, I still greatly appreciate the support. I mean, I wake up every morning or whenever I upload a new video, I see all these comments, all these people who actually watch and actually learn something and create something and share it online. Honestly, I love seeing what you guys make. Yeah, you guys help me keep going with these content, and it really hurts to say that it's gonna all stop, but sometimes change is good. Now, I'm not only just making updates and changes to my Patreon, I'm also hoping to update my entire Discord server. I have gotten a couple of good like suggestions to what I should do, what should I add and remove off of my Discord server, and I'm hoping I can get to that soon. I really do want to like update and change and modify and just clean up the Discord server a little bit so it's more well organized, but I really didn't have time for that in the past. It was on my to-do list, just never got to it. So if you guys wake up one day and open up Discord and see that things are missing or things have changed, just know that I finally got the chance to actually update it. So a bit of a heads up. So the last thing I really wanted to talk about before I end this video is how do you guys get help and support? Because I'm running a tutorial like channel and bugs, issues are gonna come up. And so I really want to talk about what you guys should do to actually get help, because there's some good ways to get help and actually good ways to ask for help and actually get the help that you need, but there's also some bad ways of doing it. And so I want to talk about that here. It's not like super important, but it's important enough to where I feel like I should actually talk about it. So the biggest thing I really want to talk about first is how I provide help, because you guys ask for help. I'm more than happy to give help, but I really want to clarify how much help I can actually give. Now, because I'm really pressed for time, I try not to get too invested in a project or another person's project, because then I would pretty much sit there for hours hoping to fix it, and sometimes I don't, and that will be like 5-6 hours later. And so that's not a really good use of my time, so I'm trying to really keep it to a minimum, but like help you guys at the same time, if that makes sense. But here are some guidelines that I really want to talk about if you really need help. Just some things to keep in mind when you ask for help, when you need help, and some things you should do before you ask for help. Because if you're not going to help yourself, no one's going to help you, Number one, if you have any issues or bugs or any questions, please join my Discord, really. There are tons of people who are active on my Discord a lot, and so they usually, if I don't reply, then they would probably reply. If it's like a problem with your code, you can upload screenshots, you can upload videos, and that will help a lot of us out who actually want to give you help, because you explaining code and what is going on is kind of hard to picture. If we can see what's going on, if we see the code, it'll be easier for us to actually help you. Now, my second guideline is if you need help and you don't know who to ask, feel free to ping me, really. I don't really mind being pinged as long as like you don't spam it and whatnot, just like basic internet etiquette. If you ping me, it'll help me actually find you, because I get this big red circle on my Discord saying like, hey, you got someone pinged you or someone needs you for something, and I always click on it. So just ping me if you need me, keep it at a minimum, and yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Just feel free to, if you guys like don't want to ping me and you want to send me a direct message, please do that too. I don't mind it either, but still keep in mind the amount of help I can give you really varies. And that brings us to rule number 3, or guideline number 3. The amount of help I can honestly give you really depends on what you need help with and what your project is. So let me elaborate on that a little bit. So if you need help on something that's not related to the tutorials, or you need help with something that is related, but it's something that I did not show you how to make, then I can't really help you in a sense, like physically, like tell you what you should and what you should do, where a certain code at, what to add, what to remove. Like the best I can really do is just provide some pointers, because I really don't know, because everyone codes a bit differently. And so if you make a new system that is very different from mine, it's very difficult for me to figure out what's going on without deconstructing all your other systems. And at that point, I might as well just code your entire system from scratch and actually fix it. So if you have like an issue that's unrelated, or an issue that is related but it's not exactly something I showed you, the best I can do is provide some pointers to help you solve your issue, but I can't physically get involved and actually tell you what you should do, what you should not, what you remove, what you add. And it also applies to projects in which you already have systems or separate systems like implemented already. So let's say you have like ALS. If you watch my tutorial series and you apply everything to ALS, I can't really help you a whole lot, because ALS does have issues and it does conflict with a bit of code that we made, especially in the aerial combat section. And so if I really wanted to, I would have to deconstruct ALS and figure out how ALS works in order to really help you solve the issue. And like I said, I'm trying to keep things at minimum. If you do have a project in which you implemented my videos into with systems that are different, I can't really provide a whole lot of help. I can pretty much give you pointers and just point you in some sort of direction that might help you solve your issue. Now, if none of those, like if you have a project, brand new project, only content I've shown, then I can actually help you, because I made the code, I know how it works, and so I can definitely get involved and tell you what you should do, how to fix it, and actually tell you like why you get this bug, because I know how my systems work, so I have a solid understanding of that. Now, the last thing I really want to talk about, which is the last rule, is that I'm hoping that all of you should debug all your stuff first. Like, I get it. When you run into issues, most of you, try to figure out yourself. And, if you can't figure it out, you ask for help. I'm perfectly okay with that. But there are some of us who just run into issues and just ask for help without trying to fix it themselves. Because if you're not going to help yourself, don't expect someone to help you. So that brings us to the end of the video. And I'm honestly afraid at this point to see how you guys react and respond to this video, because I know it doesn't contain the best news. And believe it or not, I spent like a year now making videos, constantly making videos and like posting them weekly. And I just built this large community and I couldn't do it without you guys, because without an audience, I'm a nobody, and putting a stop to all the tutorials and all the things that got me a big audience is definitely going to hurt the community that I built. As a kid, I always wanted to be a YouTuber, build content, do stuff on YouTube. And without you guys, I would not be able to do that. So I really wanted to say thanks. I was a nobody once, but you guys changed that. I reached out, because I branched out to a larger audience. I got to meet new people. And with these big changes, I'm hoping that not a whole lot of that will change. I'm hoping that, I'll still have a big audience, or at least an audience that, still around. Hopefully not everyone leaves. I'm just hoping that some of you guys will still stay, big changes. And to be frank, I hate change, but sometimes change is good, and just a bit afraid of how bad this decision will affect my community and everything I built here on YouTube and all my other social media pages. So yeah, I want to say thanks again for listening. It's a pretty long video, just me talking about shit, but yeah, thanks. I really appreciate it. Without you guys, I'm a nobody, honestly. And you guys coming here, supporting me, what I did really got me up in the morning, really made me want to put more time on these videos, on these tutorials, plan them out, edit them, record them. I've taken a big chunk of my own project just so I can make more tutorials for you guys. Like, I don't want to strafe too far away from what I originally had planned, nor do I want to disappoint the people who, supported me. Really just afraid of how things would go, but I'm hoping it'll be all right. So yeah, thanks again for listening. It's just a bit of a talk. So yeah, peace out. I'll see you guys later.